We want to go now to our CBS News contributor, Leslie Sanchez. She's actually in Houston. And Leslie, normally we are talking to you about politics, but a totally different story today. First of all, tell us, how are things where you are right now? How are the waters? Is everyone okay?
Sure. No, thanks, Elaine. And it's great to hear there's so many folks on the ground giving a vast perspective and a big look at this, because you will hear this is historic. This is unprecedented. I am in Sugar Land and also near Sienna Plantation, which was one of the first areas to experience touchdown tornadoes. And I will tell you, for people, I'm a native Houstonian from this area. Everybody was focused on Hurricane Harvey and the winds, and when the tornado alerts and warnings came, it just kind of caught people off guard. They didn't quite know how quickly they needed to respond. They hadn't thought through where to go in their home. It's not like Oklahoma, where you have basements and cellars and you run. And there's whole areas of devastation that were hit, just flying debris that went into rooftops, 50-plus homes in this neighborhood, trees overturned, glass broken everywhere. And what immediately happened after that was it was neighbor helping neighbor. I think that's the story that's going to come out of this, is when you have a county judge just a few minutes ago ask people, saying the assets have been requested, but we need people with high water vehicles and boats, axes, and chainsaws to come out if they safely can to help evacuate people. That's the spirit of Texas, but that's the reality of how flat-footed many feel in this storm right now.
Yeah, so describe for me, leading up, you touched on it a little bit there, but leading up to this storm's approach, what is it that you and other residents in the area had been told about what to expect?
Sure. I mean, people said this could be similar to Tropical Storm Allison. That was in 2001, and it was one of the worst rainstorms to hit an American city in modern times. That was about 40 inches of rain. People knew what areas, what levees, what bayous would flood, and there was an anticipation of that. But what people weren't thinking about was all the rain that was going to continue for numerous days. I think local officials have been trying to pinpoint that, but people couldn't really grasp what that meant and how long. Right now, what we're seeing, every watershed is 1 to 5 feet over banks. I mean, from the Buffalo Bayou and Oyster Creek, and people are very familiar with some of this flooding. But even locally, you're seeing lakes and other tribunes overflowing, and they have 2 more days of rain, and all the other water moving from Austin and otherwise moving back to the Gulf of Mexico. People didn't think that areas that were not prone to flooding would have to respond so quickly. So I think they're taking a breath. There's some slow rain right now. It's kind of stopped. There's a little bit of sunshine. But people didn't expect flooding to this degree.
So, Leslie, I know you said it's neighbor helping neighbor, essentially. Tell me what you and others around you are doing to ride out this storm.
Sure. I think the first thing we've done is when these tornadoes hit in Sienna Plantation, a lot of people came out with hand saws, came out with water, big trucks, gloves. The local high school, there was a group of high school students who came out and they organized very quickly just to get debris, just to describe this massive rain and debris and insulation. It was in the trees, it's fiberglass, it's all over the yards. And in some cases, you had either wood from other new home construction just barreling through brick and basically exploding through back bedrooms. How people escaped, it's just shocking that there were no real injuries. But everyone's just trying to pull debris out and cover these rooftops. These roofing crews have been moving in really quickly, and I know they're moving around the city. And that's where I am. I think, Elaine, the story we saw this morning that is so heartbreaking is out on East from 3 a.m., the time that the tornado warnings went off on my phone, have been watching. And people have been waiting 5 and 6 hours to be rescued. These are low-income, in many cases, minority communities. They're on air mattresses. People have been going with jet skis and any type of flotation device to pull hundreds of people out of some of these neighborhoods. And these are people that do not have flood insurance. They do not have renter's insurance. They are losing everything. And so we cannot begin to think about the impact it's having across the full spectrum of Houston.